Hey, Scrappy Peeps, it's Suzanna here today for Sketch It Up, Sketch It Down, my collaborative series that I do with Iris. This is the sketch that we are both using, and that is the layout that I created. So you can see that it's a 12 by 12 sketch, but I interpreted it as an 8.5 by 11 or letter-sized page. Go ahead and head over at the end of this video. I'll link you to it to Iris's YouTube channel, and you'll see how she interpreted this same sketch. She was aiming for a 12 by 12, but I'm not quite sure. It's a bit of a surprise. So again, head over to her channel and be sure to see what it is that she did. So I printed this picture, and you can see it's just the top half of the page. It's actually the top probably 2/3 of the page on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So I had a full canvas, and this paper pad from the Maggie Holmes Sunny Days collection. It's a funky size. I can't remember. It's an 8 by 10, I think, and 8 something. Anyway, it was only 8. And of course, this is letter size 8.5. So I wanted to make that span the full width of the page. So I just kind of took the bottom off and aligned the dots. And you can see that I didn't do it perfectly, but I'm not worried about it. I am going to tell you that I skipped out how I figured out these triangles because it took me forever. And so I just edited that out, and we're just going to go with the triangles. So I have this yellow and the green. The green is floral, and it's actually gold foiled. And so that's going to be at the right-hand side, and that bigger yellow triangle will be on the left-hand side. And the reason I went with these colors is I just love the way that it brings out the photo. So I happen to have the ripped strip from a previous layout that I created with this collection, and while that is not in the sketch, I went ahead and just took the liberty to go ahead and do that. I like the way that it grounded the layout, and that's why I went with that. So I fussy cut this tag out of the cut apart sheet, and I love that it said summer and 2 because there were two of the kids. We weren't traveling. This is at Lewis Ginter, which is our arboretum or botanical gardens, and so it didn't really apply, which is why covering up the travel was okay with me. I liked the way that that blue tag brought out the blue shirt that my son is wearing, which is part of why I went with that additional color in there. And then the pink is just one of the colors in the collection, but their skin tone is sort of pinky-ish, and so it sort of accentuated them in the photo there. So I'm going to adhere these pieces down because I have committed to this. I'm kind of bothered by that line where the cement or the tiling of the surface that this bench was on transitions to some other surface, but there's really not much that you can do about it. See, I tried covering it up with the sticker there, but then you lose that transition of those triangles and how they kind of meld into each other. So I also was trying with that teal tag to hide that seam, but it's really not all that noticeable. So I decided that I didn't like it on the right hand side, and again, it had to do with the placement of those triangles. It just wasn't going to work on that right hand side, so it would stay on the left hand side. When you decide to cut elements off the edges of your page, you can use your trimmer, which you saw me do earlier, but it's also good to use a pair of scissors, and you literally just butt up the edge of the scissors to the edge of the page, and that gives you a nice clean flush edge there. So I'm kind of playing with these puffy elements. I liked the sunny and bright, and I wanted to use them, but I also liked the sunshine, and so it was a way of figuring out how with these diagonal angles I was going to incorporate a horizontal element into it. I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, so I'm gonna kind of leave that for a little bit, come back to it because it was starting to be frustrating, and so I'm just going to continue to work on this bottom left hand element here. So you see, I still have that sunshine, and I thought that I would put it across and maybe do some journaling underneath, but it really didn't work. That was too boxy for the whimsy of this page, is what I ultimately ended up deciding. And so I am going to toy with the idea of using that pattern paper as a stripe. I had nixed this tag, but I do really like it. I wanted other elements on the page, and so that is why, and again, I told you I really liked the way that the blue tag popped my son and kind of created a visual triangle between him, the triangles, and where the journaling will eventually go. There actually isn't any journaling on this page. At the end of this layout, there still isn't any journaling on the page. I have a feeling what I'm going to end up doing is I will journal on the back of the page, which I do frequently do because I do like every page that has a story to tell a story. This is some baker's twine from the twinery that I like the way that the green complements the green on the right hand side, just kind of ties everything together. And so I'm going to tie a bow on that while I'm still sort of playing and toying with the idea of exactly how this title is going to come together. So you can see the inspiration from the sketch. I have very much used that same triangle principle between tied that into an 8.5 by 11 page, and I am actually going to put the title where title here is. I do not go with the hearts that are on that right hand side because the busyness of that paper made it really hard to put anything on that right hand side. And then those strips that go up that left hand side, I abandoned those because I've got this cluster that's going in here, and that is where you wouldn't have seen them, so they kind of would have served no purpose, no visual connection to all of this. So that I like that whimsy, and I kind of like the vertical movement down the page there. So I want to come in and thank those of you who have touched base to make sure that everything's okay because I haven't posted in a while. Things are good. You probably, if you follow my work, will have seen in a previous layout that yeah, my marriage was not doing so well, but we're in a much better place right now. But in the process of building that back together and putting my family back together, I also realized that I used scrapbooking as an escape. And I would come up here to my little nook and I would spend a lot of time up here to avoid having to interact with anybody. And that has not been healthy, and it has been great actually interacting with my family. So I have actually been spending a whole lot less time up here. I am trying to get a healthy balance between what will work for our family as well as what will work for my need to have this creative outlet, because I really do enjoy scrapbooking. These videos can sometimes be incredibly time consuming because you edit them and then you voice over them and then you upload them and it all takes a considerable amount of time. So my goal is to pop in here at least once a week, but it's going to take me some time to create that balance and be able to do that for y'all. So I am happy to be back with Sketch It Up, Sketch It Down. I hope you are inspired by this sketch. If you do play along, we would love to see what you have created with this sketch. I hope you're inspired by both what Iris and I have created. So that little cluster up the top right there is going to finish everything off, other than some TBD journaling. So I hope you are all doing well. I have missed you all so much, and I can't wait to catch up with all of you in the comments. Thanks for stopping in today. Enjoy the close-ups that are to follow, and don't forget to head over to Iris's blog and see, or her YouTube channel, and see what it is that she created with this sketch. Thanks for stopping in today. Come back again soon. Take care.